My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Dune Part 1, and this review will have spoilers, so that's your warning. But this is a movie I've been up and down about. I did not like it the first time I watched it. I thought it was very disappointing. And then I rewatched it, and I'm like, you know what? This movie actually works better for me now. But then the more I sat on it, the less I like it, and now I just rewatched it again, and I think I'm just going to end up saying this movie is fine. I do not think it's anywhere near as good as some people make it out to be, but there's enough positives to get it to a fresh review for me. But let's talk about the best part of this movie, and it's Denis Villeneuve's direction. This guy just brings this movie to life in the most epic sense. It captures this sense of scope and scale that was absolutely needed. It's beautifully shot by Greg Fraser, like just stunning visuals consistently. I like how you can feel the heat and the dryness of Arrakis. It allows you to get immersed with the characters. The visual effects are absolutely outstanding, especially the sandworms. I love the design of them. The production design is top notch, and the costumes are really good. So, the technical side of things, this movie is fantastic. But when it comes to the script and the cast, I find that's the movie's weakness. Let's begin with the performances. And Timothée Chalamet, I don't think he's good in this movie. I think he's very bland and very boring. Just nothing memorable about his performance. Rebecca Ferguson, I like as an actress, and she's fine here. Oscar Isaac is so naturally charismatic, but he doesn't have much to work with. Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Stephen McKinley Henderson are fine. Dave Bautista doesn't really have much to do, but I guess he's fine. Zendaya, I love her, but she's barely in this movie. Cheng Chen, Sharon Duncan-Brewster, and Charlotte Rampling all do a fine job. Javier Bardem is fine, and Jason Momoa is charismatic and likable, but his character is underwritten. So pretty much everyone's fine, but they don't have enough to work with. This isn't a character-centric movie. Like, I do enjoy the world building and everything with Spice and Arrakis and the Fremen and the Bene Gesserit. But simply put, this movie has no emotional weight behind it. There is a moment where the main characters get betrayed and the entire house collapses. And I just felt nothing. Like, this should be like, you know, in Game of Thrones, when Ned Stark gets betrayed, it should have that level of weight to it, and it just doesn't have a fraction. It has nothing. It's just completely void of any real emotion. And on top of that, it's a very thematically empty movie as well. Like, I'm not going to say this movie is boring because I don't think it is, but it's not all too compelling either. It's just serviceable throughout. I never care for any of the characters or their relationships. Whenever Paul sees Duncan, they're like, my man! And they're so happy to see each other, but then you don't actually see them bond or spend any time together, so it feels really forced. Paul's visions are way too heavy-handed. They rely on them way too much. The villains are as underdeveloped and as empty as they get. And like just very little happens in this movie. Like you get a bunch of setup and then in the last hour nothing really happens. It just loses all plot momentum. And like I don't know, the part 1 aspect to me is kind of, it just feels like they ended this movie at the halfway point. It just isn't a satisfying note to end the movie on. And like the final fight in this movie sucks. It's meant to be the climax, but it's just as underwhelming as it gets. Zendaya's like, oh, this guy will show you mercy. He won't let you suffer. And then he gets bested by Paul 5 times. It's just not really well choreographed either. I don't like the music by Hans Zimmer in this movie. The only memorable part about it is the "Ay-ya!" and everything else is just empty. And some of the editing in this movie is really choppy. There is one scene especially where we see Oscar Isaac's character in a chair and the Baron opens the door to see him. And then it keeps cutting back to Paul and his mom a few times. And it's like, why would you not just let that scene play out? It's very choppy and doesn't have a nice rhythm or flow to it. But yeah, I think this movie is vastly overrated. I do think it's incredibly well directed and I love the visuals. But the plot is just so underwhelming. It has no emotion. It's thematically empty. The characters aren't all that compelling. The performances are fine at best. It's decent enough, but it's not worth the hype. So I'll give Dune Part 1 a 6 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Dune Part 1? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin